Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the 2021 year ahead forecast for life path number 5. This, of course, is a general reading. For a personal reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. So, fives. So 2021 is actually a 5 universal energetic year. And so what that means is that collectively we will all be feeling the energies of the 5 through 2021. So of course what this means for you is that you may be feeling the energy of the 5 that much more intensely because it is your life path number. So it is the core of your essence. So just be aware that this year could be a little intense, but also a little more rewarding, and facing those triumphs and highlights of the 5 energy as well. So you're kind of getting a double dose of it. And so just to kind of give you an overview of the energy of a 5 universal year, what comes to mind for me is this idea of exploration from the ashes. And so from 2020, which was a 4 year, we're left with what is left standing from this energy of breaking down structures and legacies and institutions and foundations that were faulty and that weren't working. And it's sort of like as we enter into 2021, we're faced with the rubble. We're faced with looking around and seeing what's left standing, but then also this will be an exploratory type of year where we've got this new, open, expansive field to work with, right? Because a lot of this stuff was broken down. And so now this year we need to do the exploration to see where, what, how do we want to rebuild? Okay, I don't know if we're going to get much rebuilding actually done in 2021, but it's this opportunity that 5s thrive on, which is adventure, exploration, expansiveness. And so really being cognizant of what calls to you and using your own discernment when it comes to the building blocks that you want to use when it comes to rebuilding. So really, this is a year where 5s could really thrive because, again, you're getting an extra jolt of your life force energy. So again, just run with it, enjoy it, embrace it. Of course, with 5 energy, as you are well aware of, I have a lot of 5s in my chart as well, so I'm very well aware of the energy of 5. But with this energy comes a lot of changes and redirects. And so I do think that makes sense if we are exploring how we want to rebuild, that we would potentially choose some building blocks and maybe they weren't the right building blocks. And so we need to change direction so that when we are actually making our final decision on those, what we want to use and how we want to rebuild, that we're doing it in a way that is the most sustainable. So we may see lots of changes and redirects this year. But again, you guys are so used to that. It's kind of like being your life path number that I think is just kind of like you guys are really easy, really well equipped to go with the flow. And really, I feel like a big theme of this year is going to be about continuing to find our own balance and equilibrium and to be mindful of the extremes, because as you well know, this 5 energy can sometimes push or pull us into an extreme. And so that can be an extreme positive or an extreme negative. And so it's about constantly refining your balance and finding your footing. Okay, so just an overview of the 5 energy and how it could show up for the collective. And so what's interesting is I pulled an animal spirit card just to kind of see what 5 energy, you guys, Life Path 5s could expect for 2021 is the overall energy. And it's interesting, you guys got Manatee Spirit. And Manatee's message is accept the situation as it is rather than fighting to change it. And what's interesting is the 2 words that really came to mind when I read that were acceptance and surrender. So this is something again that I feel like fives are sort of used to experiencing, is that push to surrender, that push to trust and not fight change, right? Because again, it's such a theme for five energy to constantly be in flux or change and redirection. It's kind of like a lot of death and rebirth type thing for the five energy. So I feel like this is something that you're somewhat assimilated with, but also with this being a five universal year, this could be also coming in really, really strongly. So just be prepared for that. Just understand that, move through things as organically and authentically as possible with the understanding that if it can change, it probably will. And so again, accept the situation as it is rather than fighting to change it. So again, surrender and acceptance. So those kind of be your themes for 2021. And sometimes, let me just make this note, because I know sometimes when we hear change and redirection, we're like, oh, I'm so tired of that. But really, we have to understand that when a change comes in or a redirection comes in, it is always for our highest good, and it always is to help maneuver us into alignment. Okay, and so throughout life, we come in and out of alignment. I don't think anybody's ever fully in balance, for their entire life. And so we kind of move in and out of balance. And so when those changes come in, it's just to move us back into alignment or to allow us to experience the growth and expansion that our soul came here to experience. Okay. And so going to break down 2021 for you month by month. And first of all, of course, we have January. And so January, there's this energy of really fast moving. I hate to use this because I literally just got done saying how you guys are so used to change and don't love it, but I really do feel like January is going to just come in just wild and free and massive changes for you all, but fast moving changes. It feels really aligned, but it also feels abrupt, and it feels like it is kind of like the universe trying to accelerate your timeline. So it's like if you're at point A and the universe needs you at point D, then these changes are coming in to accelerate the timeline. And so a lot of times when we see this energy, it's because we know something needs to change. We feel the pull for that change, but it's really hard to get out of that snuggly, warm comfort zone. And so we've been procrastinating implementing the change. And so this feels like some help from the universe coming in to accelerate that change, to make that change happen for our highest good. And so you could notice in January that all of a sudden you are redirected in a major way. And it may feel a little abrupt at first. It may feel a little overwhelming at first. But I think that as you lean into this energy, you're going to quickly see how this, the potential of where it's moving you, and how this could work in your favor and how this could be to your benefit. Okay. So the call is really to, again, don't fight whatever this is. Surrender as much as possible and go with the flow, and just understand that this change, this redirect is happening to set you up for success, not to set you up for failure. Okay. So January, we have this fast moving, abrupt change coming in, a redirection, change of course, something like that. Could, it's a general reading, so it could be with relationships or could be with a job or something like that, or how you're showing up to your business or whatever, however it comes in for you, because again, it's a general reading. But major change coming in January for fives. So then we move into February, and it's interesting. It's kind of like in January you are faced with this redirection, this change of course, and I almost get this sense of it's like, that this change needed to happen. That the direction you're on now is the right direction for you, but it's almost like you're meeting some resistance from the external in February. And so this is a call to stand your ground, protect what you have created, protect what you believe in, protect what you've built, that sort of thing. Because again, remember, 2021 is this exploratory energy. And so it's kind of like, you're going to hit the ground running in January to do this. And so as you start picking up your building blocks, there may be people questioning the blocks that you're choosing from the external. And so it comes back to stand your ground, go within, understand that your choices that you're making are the right choices for you in this moment. And so be aware of those that are trying to influence and how you choose to incorporate that influence. Okay, so February is really about standing your ground, not being overly aggressive or overly emotional and that sort of thing in standing your ground, but just knowing, finding your center and your confidence in knowing that the choices that you're making are the ones that are right for you in this moment. Okay, being open to the advice, the perspectives, that sort of thing of the external, and utilizing those as a resource, but not allowing them to define your course forward. Then we move into March, and it's interesting. It's kind of very, very much your essence come March. It's like you have planted the seeds, you've acquired some of the building blocks that you want to use, you've explored, you've really kind of got really good insight as far as the things that need to change and how they need to change and what you need to do and the next steps forward. And now it's kind of like you're broadening your horizons, and you're realizing that where previously you may have been looking within your comfort zone or your intimate surroundings for the answers that you need, it's like now you're really stepping into your own core 5 energy of adventure, of exploration, of open-mindedness, and really just listening to all sides and seeing what works for you and being able to pull that and incorporate that into your movement forward. But March is really about adventure, exploration, expansiveness. So it's really like you're probably going to feel this 5 energy very, very strongly in March, but that's great. Take advantage of it. If it comes up for you, then take a leap of faith. If you're being called to travel somewhere you've never traveled to, or integrate into a culture or somewhere that you've never been before, then take the leap of faith. See what it shows you. See what it has to teach you. See what you can pull from it. March feels very much about exploration. So when you have those opportunities present themselves to you, you are very much meant to take advantage of them and embrace them, because there's really this creative energy around March that's just really like the more that you can expand, the more that you can explore, the more that you'll be able to sort of learn about yourself, and the more creative juices that'll be flowing. Okay, so when you think of March, just think of like adventure and exploration and that sort of thing. And then we move into April, and there's this energy of sort of, again, coming back to needing to find your balance. There's this energy of extremes in April, and this can be external extremes influencing you. This can be internal extremes, behaviors, thought processes, your actual actions, the actions of others and how you incorporate those, or how you show up to those, or allow, how you choose to participate in those. And so there just feels like this really big opportunity for extremes or polarities to come in and try to influence you this month. And again, you're going to be called to continue to find your balance, continue to find the ways where you can be the leader within your own life, but also incorporate others and work with others and collaborate with others. Okay, so it's not always easy to do, but there's a call this month where if you don't do that, if you're not open to collaborating with others and working with others while you maintain your own integrity, then there's this opportunity for April to feel a little conflicting, to feel like you're being pulled in a million different directions, to feel like you can't find your center, just to feel that chaos. Chaos is actually the perfect word, But, there's this element of chaos to April, but there's also the opportunity for you to find the peace within the chaos, okay? To find the calm within the chaos in how you choose to participate and how you choose to show up. So again, that can be with parents, relatives, loved ones, partners, whatever, work environment, colleagues, you name it. So, but there is this energy for fives coming in where it's kind of like there's potential for chaos, but what will you fuel the chaos, or will you attempt to find ways to mitigate the chaos and show up in calm, okay, and help to influence it in that way? So interesting energy so far. Then we move into May, and it's interesting because there's this call to find your balance again, but in a very intuitive, divine feminine, sort of in the stillness. So you may find in May that where things were kind of moving really quickly and it felt kind of chaotic and that sort of thing, all of a sudden there's this calm and this stillness to May, where it might catch you off guard a little bit because it's like, again, you might have felt like you were like, okay, full steam ahead, and then all of a sudden pause. And I kind of equate this to like maybe you had a full schedule for the week and then all of a sudden all these cancellations happened and you just kind of have like you're being forced to pause. That's really what this feels like. It's like being forced to slow down, but it's for your highest good. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like if the circumstances didn't present themselves to sort of force you to find your stillness, then you would have continued to keep moving in a way that was too fast, too accelerated, I guess, is what's kind of coming in. So it's like May for you is this opportunity to rest, relax, rejuvenate, feel the stillness, go within, check in with yourself, find that intuition, find your balance, like, are you balanced or do you feel balanced, body, mind, spirit? This is a really good month to do that. And a call to continue to come back to self, come back to your center when it comes to making your decisions, when it comes to building what it is that you want to build. Continue to come back to your soul's calling, to your higher essence, to your higher consciousness, and to your intuition, okay? You're going to use that, of course, with your intellect and the mighty mind and all of that, but this is a call to connect back to yourself, okay? And then basically it's kind of like you are checking in with your internal compass to make sure that you're on the right direction for your soul, to make sure that you didn't miss something. It's just about reconnection, and it feels very much reconnection to self and source so that you can recheck your compass and make sure that you're on the right path for you. So then we move into June for fives, and it's interesting. There's now this kind of this energy of patience, but waiting to, what it is? It's surrender. It's surrender and acceptance that's coming in for you in June. It's kind of like you feel like you've done all this work and you're ready right now. You're ready right now for the tangibles to show up. And they're just not showing up in the way that you want them to show up, because remember, 5 energy, this 5-year, 2021, is more about the exploration, more about starting to plant the seeds and do the tilling and that sort of thing. It's not necessarily about fully reaping the rewards yet, at least not on all fronts, right? And so there's this energy of June where it just feels like you're starting to get a little antsy and feeling a little anxiety because you're ready for whatever this is, or you think you are. But this is the call to remember manatee spirit. Accept the situation as it is rather than fighting to change it, but also to accept and surrender. And what I mean by that is not like victim mode, like, well, I can't do anything about this, so forget it, right? It's more about understanding that you have done your part. And now you're just waiting for the universe, for your soul for the energies that be, for that divine essence to do its part, right? Because we are in co-creation, we are in co-partnership with the universe. And so it's kind of like we can only do so much, and then the universe needs to step in and do its part, right? So it's kind of like that's the energy for June for you. If you start to feel like, well, I'm not seeing any results, so I'm just going to scrap this. Sometimes we need to do that, but sometimes it's about just having some patience and surrendering to what will be, understanding that if we show up and we make the effort, then really what is meant for us is going to find us, okay? Sometimes, though, it takes time, and a lot of times it's divine timing. And so there is this energy for a big call for patience in June for fives, which can be difficult for fives, but this is one of those times that you're really being called to surrender and accept, understand that you've done your part, and now allow the universe to do its part, okay? Then we move into July, and it's really beautiful. I just get this energy of like summertime, and of course, if you're, in the south hemisphere, then the southern hemisphere, then it's not necessarily summer for you, but that's kind of like the feeling I'm getting. It's like that summertime relaxation and play and joy and just rejuvenation. But it's a little bit, it's a different energy than the rejuvenation from May, right? May was that stillness and that going within and coming back to self. Whereas I feel like July for fives is going to be about just playing and getting your feet wet and your hands dirty and allowing things to be messy as you play and just, feeling uninhibited and just letting your hair down and seeing what comes from that creative process, right? Because a lot of times some of our greatest ideas come from those moments where we are just uninhibited and just feeling joy and just playing, right? Like really tuned into that child, like an innocence within us. So as you tune into the inner child in July, just don't restrict yourself. Don't allow others to restrict that sense of freedom. Freedom is probably the number one word for five energy. You like your freedom, your open span, your open. I just always, when I think of five energy, I think of like a Mustang, a horse running in the wild, just wild and free along the plains, right? So it's kind of like that's the energy of July. You're really able to embrace that just again, uninhibited, creative, playful energy. So beautiful, beautiful energy for July. I feel like July is a month for you to fully just embrace that five core essence that you are. And so, also I'll mention that you may find for some of you that you are, well, for a lot of you, you're being asked to tune into your inner child. But for some of you, you could actually be having a child or finding out that you're pregnant or something like that. And so just FYI on that. And then we move into August. And what's interesting, it's kind of like these energies are definitely like ebbing and flowing throughout the year. And it's kind of like you get like this dose of action and then this dose of stillness and then this dose of joy and then this dose of needing to release something. And so it's kind of like this year is a lot of push and pull for you, but not in a bad way, just in a almost like you're being asked to feel all of the emotions this year. And then learning to maneuver through those emotions and work with those emotions and to harness that energy, because emotions are energy, right? And we are energetic beings. So in August, there's this energy of kind of like something coming to completion, but it has been very emotionally fulfilling for you. So it's not like it doesn't need to end on a sour note. Okay. It's almost like one of those feelings like, it's come to completion. You know that you have basically that everything that you're meant to learn or grow from this experience has been completed. And so now it's kind of like the universe is nudging you forward, nudging you to make a change on your own accord because you know it's the right thing to do. Okay, so this again could be a job or a relationship or something like that. If it's a job, then it's kind of like that job where it's kind of like you've gotten to the point where there's just no more growth. And you're basically just showing up to this now at this point. You know what I mean? There's just nothing there it's kind of like, you've gotten all the juice out of the orange, and so there's just nothing there for you anymore. So it's kind of like you can continue to try to squeeze the orange, or you can move on to another orange. You know what I mean? So it's kind of that energy where it's like, you know what this is, or you will know at this point, but it's come to completion. And if you continue to show up to this circumstance or this experience, then there's just nothing left for you to get out of it. And it would lead to feeling unfulfilled pretty quickly. So there's that energy in August of coming to that realization and then making the appropriate necessary changes to move on from that situation into something much, much more fulfilling. Which brings me to September, which is this energy of really feeling solid and secure in your decisions, and like knowing that like the path you're on, or getting confirmation that the path that you're on is the right path for you in this moment. And it's almost like you do start to build at this point, right? And it's kind of like, you don't necessarily always want to build on shifting sands, right? But it's almost like you've got really strong confirmation that this one area or several areas of your life are solid, and you want to continue to build or start to build in this area. And so again, it being a general reading, it's hard for me to pinpoint where that would be, but there is this energy of sort of feeling stable, feeling secure, almost like finally feeling really secure in something that you've been trying to feel secure in for a while. That can be very internal, or that can be something on the external. It just depends, or it could be both, right? But it's very, very beautiful energy. It's like, again, it's like you've been doing the work. And so now it's kind of like you have this clarity, you have this confirmation that the path that you're on is the right path, and you can start to lay those bricks, start to lay that foundation. And so September for you is going to be a really good building month, okay? A really good opportunity to rebuild those foundations from the ashes. Start to use those tools, that information, those resources that you've been accumulating throughout 2021, and start to, set that goal, set that vision for what it is that you want to create. Is it that you're like, maybe in August you decided that you had met your capacity at a job and you want to create your own business, and so you start your own creative business or whatever. And then you start doing that in September. You've made the commitment. You made that decision. You were very decisive about that. And yeah, it's very, very positive. So that's what I'm kind of feeling. For some of you, it may be you're taking a relationship to another level. You're getting married at this time. You're getting engaged. Yeah, it just depends. But there is cause for celebration over this. And it's almost like a feeling of celebration from within, because it's like, okay, I finally made it to a point where I feel really, really confident in this decision, whatever this is, okay? And so beautiful, powerful, supportive energy in September to start building, or to, get married, or to whatever it is for you. But it's like building on something, okay? And building on a foundation. So then we move into October, and October is more beautiful, positive energy. Again, it's kind of like you are able to feel the shift in energy to where it's kind of like, all right, now I'm stepping into my power. I'm stepping into this beautiful energy of, seeing some tangibles. Remember when we talked about, I think it was June, where you weren't quite ready to see those tangibles yet? I feel like in October, you're going to start seeing the shift. You're going to start seeing little breadcrumbs of those tangibles coming for you in a good way. And you're starting to feel as though the table has turned for you. And like you're finally getting to get a glimpse of the potential of everything you've been working towards, right? Or what you've had to surrender and accept. You're starting to see those results come in for you. And that feels really, really positive in October. So again, really light, beautiful energy in October. And it feels very, very supportive as well. So again, this could be on the career front. This could be on the relationship front. Someplace where you might have felt a little more isolated. It's like you're starting to see the support coming in, or the synchronicities come in, or the opportunities kind of fall in your lap. Like, Maybe you want to expand on something, and then all of a sudden a course makes its way to you, and you're like, oh, I should take this course because I feel called to this. And then you do. And then it's like all of a sudden all these doors start opening. And so that's what October feels like, is like doors starting to open, opportunities starting to show up, synchronicities happening. And it's what you say, it's what you choose to say yes to, of course. But then we move into November, and I just, again, this beautiful, positive, fulfilling, supportive, family-oriented energy. And even if you're not close with your biological family, it's like you're getting this incredible support from those around you, from your soul family, from for some of you, it may be that you're starting to meet key people of your actual soul family, right? And that can feel so loving and so supportive. So yeah, it's kind of like November has this almost like this feeling of completion, but in a like, oh, I made it. You know what I mean? Like I'm so much different than who I was at the beginning of the year, and I feel really solid. I feel really positive about this movement forward. I feel really joyful and happy and content. And it's okay to feel that. It's okay to accept that and allow that joy to come in, for fives, because we can be in so much flux sometimes, so much change and transformation, that when stability comes in, when joy comes in, when ease comes in, it can be hard for us to know how to maneuver through that, because we're so used to being on guard. We're so used to being like, okay, ready for the next change, ready for the next transformation. You know what I mean? So when this energy of like just ease comes in and just pure bliss and joy, sometimes it's hard for us to just I just like melt into that, right? And so I feel like in November, that's what we're being asked to do, is to just melt into that joy, melt into that ease, and just allow it. Just surrender and accept it. And then we move into December, and it's interesting because then we have this energy of some difficult emotional energy coming in. And so it can be some level of disappointment, and it's hard for me to see this energy and to have to report it, because again, 2021 for fives just kind of feels very much like five energy, just this ebb and flow between very stable, positive, flowing energy to one of a little bit of discord and a little bit of needing your attention, right? And so because moving out of balance, so needing to move back into alignment, move back into balance. And so December, where November felt very easy, very joyful, very fulfilling, supportive energy, now we move into December, and it just feels like there's this opportunity for a little bit of emotional turmoil to show up, a little bit of discord, a little bit of, I don't know, I hate to use the word heartbreak, but it's something coming in that's a little bit challenging. And really, one of the things I think fives are really always being called to do is to master your emotions, to feel the emotions, right? To feel the extremes, to feel the polarities, and move through them and be aware of them, not to avoid them and not to suppress them, but to feel them. And so I do feel like for fives, for so much of our lives, it's like we are constantly being given the opportunities to feel those extremes, and constantly being given the opportunity, and this is key, to find our center within those extremes. So again, it's, fives did not come here to this planet to just have a monotone existence, right? We came here to experience the incredible, polarities, the ebbs and the flows, the wonderful, the sad, the beautiful, the ugly, all those things, to really experience the extremes so that we can continue to learn how to find our center within those extremes, okay? So, I think this is just a general theme for fives, and it's just about mastering those emotions so that our emotions don't control us, but that we are able to manage our own emotions and harness that energy to be able to use that energy in the way that best serves us. And so again, as December comes in and I see this energy of like almost, again, a polar opposite of that energy from November, it's just a reminder of the path that fives are on to continue to find your center within the storm, right? To continue to find the peace within the chaos. So as, if something comes in for you in December that feels a little heartbreaking or difficult or challenging, then again, it's, the experiences through 2021 and throughout your lifetime have got you to the point where you're continually being shown that you have the tools that you need to be able to find the calm within the storm, to face whatever you're being shown and, sit with it, embrace it, feel it, and then release it, and then move back to your center. So interesting energies for 2021 for Life Path Fives. And again, I have a lot of fives in my chart, so I anticipate that I will be feeling this as well. And so again, just the two key words that I would say to remember for 2021 are surrender and acceptance. And the more that we can do that, and the more that we can face the reality of what we're facing and move through it, the quicker we'll get to the other side, and the more tools that we'll accumulate to be able to continue to find our center within the storm. Okay? Well, I hope that it's a beautiful 2021 for you all. I hope that it comes in gently, but I also hope that it finds you in a way to help you transform in the way that you need to transform. So thank you, and until next time, bye for now.